mukomeje kurikira gahunda PACIS TV yabateguriye twizera yuko mwakomeje kunogerwa n'ibiganiro byagiye bitambuka umunsi ku wundi cyangwa munota ku wundi. Twibutsa yuko ikiganiro Business Connection muri kumwe nanjye Berigine Bizimana aho tugenda tukora ku ngingo nyinshi zigiye zitandukanye. Kuri uyu munsi tukaba tugiye kurebera hamwe ikoranabuhanga mu binyabiziga, ubwo ni imodoka tugiye kwibandaho cyane cyane aho bimaze kugaragara ko hirya no hino muri Afurika ari bimwe mu bigenda bitanga umurimo cyangwa se bizamura ubukungu bwo hirya no hino muri Afurika. Ibyo ngibyo akaba ari bimwe mu bituma Afurika igenda itera imbere binyuze mu ikoranabuhanga, cyane ko abahanga n'ubundi mu bijyanye n'ikoranabuhanga bari bakomeje kugenda bakomoza bavuga yuko aho ikoranabuhanga ribonetse hose ariko birusha kugenda bitanga umurimo. Kuri uyu munsi rero turaza kwibanda mu bihugu bigiye bitandukanye mu byo Zambia, aho iterambere ry'ibinyabiziga byagiye bikunda kuzamura ubukungu ariko binatanga n'akazi, ariko bakanavuga yuko ibi ngibi by'umwihariko mu modoka zikoreshwa imirasire y'izuba ari bimwe mu bizatuma ubukungu bwabo burushaho kuzamuka, bityo ibikomoka ku mavuta bikarushaho kugabanuka, ariko by'umwihariko mu kubungabunga cyangwa se mu gusigasira ibidukikije hirindwa imyuka mibi. Ubwo ngubwo rero tuvuze mu binyabiziga tugaruka no mu Rwanda, cyane yuko buriya imodoka za Volkswagen kugeza aho zaje gutaranyirizwa hano mu Rwanda mubona yuko zimaze kugira ubwinshi, ariko by'umwihariko abazikoresha nabo abanyarwanda bakaba barizitabiriye ku bwinshi, by'umwihariko n'abakerarugendo iyo baje batugana usanga n'ubundi bagendera muri ibyo binyabiziga bigiye bitandukanye. Muri Zimbabwe naho rero ubwo ngubwo naho turaza kwerekeza, ubwo turaza kugenda dutambutsa no muri documentaire zigiye zitandukanye batubwira uburyo bakoramo cyangwa se tunabireba twihera ijisho, ariko by'umwihariko dusobanukirwa uburyo iri terambere muri Afurika ryakomeje kugenda rizamuka, cyane cyane by'umwihariko muri ibyo bihugu nagiye ndushaho kugenda mbabwira. Ibi rero bijyanye n'ibinyabiziga n'ubundi by'imodoka iyo ugiye kureba hano hirya no hino mu Rwanda, naho buriya tuzagira igihe dutumire bamwe mu bakora ibinyabiziga hano mu Rwanda, cyane yuko bagiye bakunda kuvuga yuko ibinyabiziga bituruka mu Bushinwa aribyo bikunze kwibanda ku mirasire y'izuba cyangwa se mu gukoresha amashanyarazi, ariko ubu ngubu byamaze kugera n'ubundi ku mugabane wa Afurika. Kugeza akanya ibinyabiziga biteranyizwa muri Afurika rwose hirya no hino ku migabane yacu y'u Rwanda, ikaba byaragiye birushaho kuba byinshi. Si mu Rwanda gusa, ngo niyo tuvuze muri Afurika n'ubundi ni umugabane wose wa Afurika, akaba ari mpamvu tugenda tunyuzaho izo documentaire tubereka uburyo bikorwamo, ariko tuza kugenda tubasobanurira n'ubundi mutumva ururimi rw'icyongereza ibyo bigiye bisobanura cyangwa se icyo bagenda babikomozaho babivugaho n'uburyo bigenda bitanga akazi mu rubyiruko, ariko by'umwihariko ikoranabuhanga. Reka dukurikire documentaire yo muri Zimbabwe, tugaruke mu kanya tureba uburyo batanya ibinyabiziga n'ubuhamya ababikoramo batanga, uburyo byatanze akazi ariko by'umwihariko bikazamura n'ubukungu bw'icyo gihugu.
What if I told you that everything you know about energy is about to change? Imagine never having to stop for gas again, never having to charge your car, never having to worry about fuel prices. Sounds impossible, right? That's exactly what they said about the Wright brothers, about Tesla, about every breakthrough that changed the world. On February 10th, 2025, something happened in Zimbabwe that made the impossible possible. Zimbabwean innovator Maxwell Chikumbutsu finally launched his vehicle on the 10th of February 2025. Now, though I made a video about this last week, many people came into the comment section and were like very skeptical. Some people say that this technology doesn't really make sense and they are not really sure that it's going to come live. But then Chikumbutsu had already made a launch date on the 10th, and that day seems to be Judgment Day, that everybody is actually waiting for it. Finally, we have come to the D-Day.
They've just given us. We saw a very interesting technological thing that you have been offering here, but many people are still in doubt. What is the source and how reliable is this, and is this going to be able to sustain for years?
But I think you've seen, like the guys who came from Israel. We've got guys who came from Switzerland. These are the guys I've been working with 4 years. They have tested it. Some of them, they've bought my products before, like Emmanuel. Emmanuel, I think he bought 2 machines for himself. Right now he bought a car. Right now he bought a motorbike, which he's taking with him. So it's all about the proof of the pudding. He tested it. That's why he came. And whoever who wants a machine can now get it. We've got our distributor here in Zimbabwe who is going to be handling all the sales in Zimbabwe.
The streets of Harare erupted with celebrations. Social media exploded with the launch of this marvelous car. In reality, Chikumbutsu wasn't launching a car. He was launching a technology that could be put into any car in the world.
All the cars that you know, if you go to KYA right now, all their cars, you have to plug in either a DC charging station or an AC charging station. Our car is the first car. This is a generator. I think if you can go to the fridge, you can see he is going to plug in and you will see that the fridge is going to be powered by a car. Like I said, you can buy a car. You don't need to have a generator at your home. You use your car. That's the car.
So is the microsonic device?
What we have done, like we said, the microsonic energy device is the invention that we have done and we are trying to protect it. We have embedded it in the vehicle.
Okay.
Yes. And it has got a self-destructive technology. On the 150 wires on this car, if you try to tamper with 5 of them, we will classify. You destroy the microsonic energy device, both of the software and the hardware. That's how we are protecting the technology, because we couldn't get a patent.
So more like encryption.
Yes, it's encrypted. It's on. It's on right now.
It's on.
Oh,
Yeah.
so there are no mechanical, there are no like moving parts.
The only moving part that you will see on this car is a reduction gearbox, but you don't have to maintain it to service
The
it.
generator doesn't have.
The generator doesn't have any moving parts. Usually those type of devices are known as zero-point energy. So you cannot even maintain it, you cannot service it because there is no friction that is happening.
Wow.
Been working on ways on how to protect the technology in the event that we lose it. For example, we go in a country, we will set up a power station, there is a hostile takeover, what how do you protect our technology? That's why we took the trade secretary route. Our patent is kept, our design is kept, the recipe is kept in 3 countries, and the people who are keeping it, they don't even know each other. The second thing, we try to protect the hardware side, because if the engineer remove like a second board, you can trace, you can see that this is a rectifier, this is a microchip. So we put a small amount of a detonator to say, but that cannot harm anyone. But if you just try to tamper with it, you blow it. That's part of the second board. Also on the software, if someone can have the source code, he can try to do reverse engineering. So we work on an algorithm that if you tamper with certain wires on the vehicle, you are going to destroy the microsonic energy device. Yeah.
So you can't tamper.
You cannot tamper with it. If you tamper with it, then you lose your investment.
Question, what would be the market price for this?
So which products do you have on the market?
The car,
Are the batteries on the market?
the greener power grid machines are on the market, the TVs are on the market, the bikes are on the market, the cars as well, they are on the market.
When people say your microsonic technology can't be proven, what do you say to that?
You know, thank you very much for it, because we had not find ways of protecting the IP, like I said. As you know, in science we say, prove it. It's not about arguing it, proving it. So we drive our car to Cairo, live on TV, everyone watching. That would be enough proof. And right now we're doing this because we are now on the commercial level. So I understand what you're saying very well. And also the other thing, my brother, that I want to tell you.
He explains that the energy used in his innovation is called microsonic energy. Now this energy is found in the air just like many other energies like radiation energy, but then the energy is very minimal. With current technologies, energy from this sphere, from radio waves, can be extracted and used, but it is going to be very minimal and not really economically feasible to produce in large scale. But Chikumbutsu has found a way to amplify the radio waves and use it in large scale. This is not the first time that Chikumbutsu is using radio energy to power devices. He had done this several years ago, powering a TV set.
This is our self-powered TV that we have designed. The first in the world to have such kind of a technology where a television is powered with a radio frequency. So as you can see right now, I'm powering this television. So this is the first television in the world that uses self-power to say. It is all in one. You don't need to put it on electricity or on solar panel or anything. As it is a complete solution. Behind the television, you can see that there is a microsonic energy device, this box. This is the device that is converting radio frequencies into pure energy. As you can see, the power of the cable was supposed to be here. On all traditional televisions, power comes here, but there's no power, as you can see. The television it is working as it is. So in layman, I think this television is we can call it a self-powered television.
The streets of Harare. Now I know what you're thinking. This has to be fake, right? Yes, that's what some experts said before, until they witnessed this with their own eyes. Now let me explain to you how this works. Here's where it gets fascinating. You know how your radio picks up music from thin air? Those are radio frequencies, invisible waves traveling all around us. Chikumbutsu figured out how to turn these waves into pure energy. Think of it like a radio that plays power instead of music. Now, generally, the systems to extract energy from this method already exist in this world, but they are economically not feasible and are very minute that can hardly power any device. But Chikumbutsu has figured out a way to amplify this energy and make it economically available, meaning that a car like this has no range. It means it can go as far as it can until you have a tire puncture or you have a mechanical problem. In our last video, we said that scientists never understood how this was possible, and that's the reason why his technology was not given a patent. So what happens next when energy becomes as free as air? Who loses power? Who gains it? And why are some of the world's biggest companies suddenly very, very nervous? Now, this story isn't over yet. In fact, it is just the beginning. And I want to know, what would you do if you have access to unlimited energy? And if you want to know how innovations like this are reshaping our world, hit the like button and see you in my next video. Ciao.
muri iyi minsi mikuru ya Noheli n'ubunani bakerarugendo mutembera mu karere kawe ndetse no mu tundi turere tw'intara y'amajyepfo n'iburengerazuba, bantu mwifuza gusohokana imiryango yanyu mugakena serivisi za hoteli, nimuze mbarangira ahantu heza mwakora serivisi za hoteli maze mugasoza umwaka mumeze neza. Aha mbabwira nta handi rwose, ni muri hoteli Huye iri rwagati mu mujyi Huye mu nyubako irusha ubwiza izindi, nawe urebe ukibwira. Muri hoteli Huye twakira inama zitandukanye kuko tugufitiye ibyumba by'inama byiza utasanga ahandi. Tugufitiye serivisi zitandukanye za bar na restaurant kandi zitanganwa ubuhanga n'icyubahiro ku mukiriya utugana. Uretse ibyo kandi dufite coffee shop nziza n'umbarista wayo w'icyerekezo wabyize ubifitiye impapuro ndetse n'ubunararibonye. Twakira kandi ibirori bitandukanye birimo ubukwe, anniversaire, bride shower, graduation ndetse n'ibindi. Aha abenshi bahitira muri Edeni, ndavuga ubusitani bwa hoteli Huye kuko iyo ubwicayemo uba witegeye byiza by'imisozi ya Huye ndetse no ku butaka butagatifu Ikibeho. Erega byashoka kuri kure yacu tugufitiye serivisi serivisi nziza za catering maze komande yawe watanze ikakugeraho vuba nk'uko ubyifuza. Kugeza ubu tuza ku isonga muri za serivisi za hoteli, gukora serivisi nziza z'ibyumba bitandukanye byo gukoramo inama. Abifuza kuruka kandi namwe tubafitiye ibyumba biteguye neza birimo ibiri class, apartment nziza zifite uruganiriro ndetse n'ibindi. Ngaho nimutugane tubahe ibyishimo bisendera imitima yanyu, tubafashe kwinjira mu mwaka w'2026 neza kuko serivisi dutanga ari nta makemwa. Hoteli Huye ni mu mujyi wa Huye rwagati iruhande rwa banki ya Kigali. Ku bindi bisobanuro waduhamagara kuri telefone yo kuri ekara yawe. Hoteli Huye, igisobanuro cya hoteli igezweho.
Nanone dore umwaka urashize kandi n'undi urataje.
Murakaza neza muri Munyagiseko, ikigo cyizewe gitanga ibisubizo by'ingufu zisukuye hifashishijwe imirasire y'izuba. Muri ibi bihe by'iminsi mikuru tubafitiye igabanyirizwa ku byuma bishyushya amazi bikoresheje imirasire y'izuba solar water heater hamwe na garanti kugera ku myaka 10 yose, bikanakurikiranwa kandi bikitabwaho mu gihe cy'imyaka 2 nta kiguzi. Tubafitiye kandi igabanyirizwa ridasanzwe ku mapano solaire atanga amashanyarazi mu ngo, mu biro no mu bikorwa by'ubucuruzi. Tubafitiye ingero zitandukanye z'ibikoresho bitewe n'ingano y'amashanyarazi ukeneye, bigufasha kugabanya fagitire y'amashanyarazi kugera kuri 70% y'amashanyarazi usanzwe ukoresha. Ciko ni amahirwe mu minsi mikuru. Ibindi bisobanuro duhamagare ku murongo utishyurwa 888 uyu munsi kugira ngo ubone ibikoresho byawe bikoresha imirasire y'izuba. Munyagiseko, solar with the soul.
Mu mutima wa Afurika hari ikirango gishobora kumva agaciro ko kuruhuka nyako. Kuva mu 1983 Rwanda Farm yabaye igice cy'imiryango y'u Rwanda, izana ituze, ihumure mu mpande zose z'igihugu. Buri matera ikorwa n'amaboko y'abahanga bishimira gukora ituze riramba. Kuko iyo twizeye ibikorera hano turubakana twese hamwe. Kandi iyo uhisemo Rwanda Farm uba uhisemo matera ituma urugo rwiyumva nk'urugo nyarwo. Hari ibintu bihinduka uko imyaka ihita, ariko ubwiza nyakuri bwo buraramba.
Yashuri bose bashaka ni College Fondation Sinagera.
Mama we.
Iri ni ishuri ribumbata icyerekezo cy'u Rwanda twifuza kuko ritanga uburezi buhamye mu mashuri y'inshuke, abanza, icyiciro rusange ndetse n'amashami y'imyuga n'ubumenyingiro mu buhinzi, ubworozi, food processing, ubwubatsi, ubuganishi bw'ibinyabiziga, fashion design, gutunganya imisatsi, ububaji n'ubusuderi. Hari n'amasomo y'igihe gito short courses mu mashami yavuzwe haruguru aherekezwa na practice zihagije kuko abanyeshuri bigira mu nganda za Sinagera. Sinagera International Football Academy yigisha abana guhera ku myaka 6 gucunga ruhago sawa sawa, atletism, imbyino nyarwanda no kwiga amategeko y'umuhanda no gutwara ibinyabiziga nabyo biri mu nyongera y'amasomo. Abana biga amashuri y'incuke n'abanza basoza ibyo byiciro bose bazi gutwara igare. Umwana wa segonderi we atahana uruhusa rwo gutwara ibinyabiziga. Witinda kwandikisha umwana ku ishuri kuri Nyirangarama cyangwa ku mashami ya Sinagera Entreprise Urwibutso hose mu gihugu. Ku bindi bisobanuro hamagara 0788555123 cyangwa 0788559999. Twubaka ubukungu bushingiye ku bumenyi.
nk'uko rero tuba tumaze gutumikira abadutumye tubibutsa yuko aho muherereye hirya no hino mu gihugu cyacu Rwanda tugiye tubafite amashami agiye atandukanye ya PACIS TV. Ubwo ngubwo rero mwebwe mufite ibikorwa byanyu mushaka kumenyekanisha cyangwa se kwamamaza ni mutugane kugira ngo tubafashe kubimenyekanisha. Twibutsa yuko ihuye dufiteyo ishami rya PACIS TV Nyaruguru yewe na Rusizi, aho hose niho mushobora kutugana aho duherereye, bityo tukabasha kubatumikira aho mwaba muri hose, ariko by'umwihariko hari mu mujyi wa Kigali aho dukorana no Kimironko kuri Regina PACIS n'ubundi munatugana tukaba tukabasha kubatumikira cyangwa se kumenyekanisha ibikorwa byanyu. Turi kugaruka ku ikoranabuhanga uburyo rishobora kuza ziri kugenda rizamura Afurika by'umwihariko mu iterambere ryayo. Byari bizwi yuko ikoranabuhanga akenshi rikunze kugaragara mu bihugu bya kure nk'Ubushinwa n'ahandi, ariko ubu ngubu ryageze muri Afurika. Twari turimo tureba muri Mozambique uko byifashe ibyuma by'ikoranabuhanga cyangwa se imodoka n'ibindi bigiye bitandukanye nk'amateleviziyo n'amatelefoni bagenda bakora cyangwa se bafite. Ibingibi byerekana ko Afurika iri kwerekeza heza hazaza mu gihe cyiza, n'by'umwihariko mu bakiri batoya uburyo bizabafasha mu gukomeza kuzahura ubukungu bwabo no guteza imbere Afurika yacu. Reka twerekeze muri Mozambique naho yewe turajya no muri Maroc turebe uko byifashe iterambere ryaho by'umwihariko mu ikoranabuhanga ry'amamodoka cyangwa se ibinyabiziga aho byifashe gute. Turagaruka mu kanya dukomeza ikiganiro cyacu, nimujye kure.
What we call the microsonic energy device. The microsonic energy device, it is the device that I personally invented in 2009.
A car that never needs gas, never plugs in and just keeps running. Sounds impossible, right? But it's real, and it's not coming from Tesla or Toyota. It's coming out of Africa. A quiet inventor from Zimbabwe may have just cracked the code and built a truly self-charging vehicle. No wires, no fuel, just motion. And the wildest part? It's not even a prototype anymore. Mass production is on the table and the auto industry is on freaking out. Stick around, it only gets wilder from here. Africa's auto revolution. While the United States worries about chip shortages and Tesla's next launch, something massive has been unfolding quietly across the Atlantic. In just 10 years, Africa has gone from being a dumping ground for used cars to designing, building and exporting its own vehicles. And this isn't about building flashy concept cars or chasing EV hype. Africa is building vehicles for survival. Tough machines designed to face the real world, not just glide through Silicon Valley traffic.
Traffic gets awful along Bay Area highways. It is easy to think Los Angeles has it much worse than we do.
Let's start with Morocco, the leader of this automotive wave. In 2024 alone, its factories in Tangier and Kenitra rolled out more than 610,000 vehicles. And here's the kicker. 9 out of 10 of those were exported straight to Europe. That makes Morocco not only Africa's top car producer, but also the second largest supplier of vehicles to the European Union after China. Right now, Morocco's total factory capacity is over 1 million cars per year. That's about 1,700 new vehicles being finished every single day, a production rate that outpaces many older plants in Europe.
This is what makes Morocco attractive, and this is what made the Morocco platform grow that fastly.
Next up is South Africa, the country that still sets the gold standard for engineering. With decades of manufacturing experience, it's home to global players like BMW, Ford, and Toyota. Over 100,000 people work in these plants, and more than 300,000 more are employed across the supply chains in logistics, components, and dealerships. About 60% of all South African-built vehicles are exported. But what makes their vehicles stand out is how tough they are, with bakkies and SUVs built to handle rough terrain and harsh environments. Dust-sealed electronics and reinforced suspensions are standard.
That obviously will impact their decision, because they are now, instead of running 2 lines as they used to do traditionally.
But now, let's talk about the underdog that's rising fast, Nigeria. In the town of Niwi, innocent vehicle manufacturing has expanded rapidly. Back in 2020, they could build 10,000 vehicles a year. Now they've scaled that up to 15,000, and in late 2024, they rolled out Nigeria's first locally built electric pickup truck. These vehicles aren't just copies of foreign models. They're built with thicker body panels and reinforced welds, made to survive the country's deeply cratered roads. Ghana is on the same track. Kantanka Automobile produces up to 7,000 pickups and SUVs each year, almost all of them staying within the country. And they're not just sticking to petrol. They've started experimenting with solar-powered drivetrains to help cut fuel costs.
Some of the alternatives are renewable energy sources, which include all fuel types and energy carriers.
Especially for taxi fleets that spend hours on the road daily. Then there's Kenya, a country whose automotive journey has had its ups and downs. Mobius Motors, based in Nairobi, had to temporarily shut down its factory in 2024 due to funding issues. But with new investment, they're back in action. Their latest vehicle, the Mobius 3, is set for full production in July 2025. This rugged SUV is 60% locally sourced and comes with a turbocharged 1.6-litre engine and a ladder frame designed to handle farm tracks and rural terrain with ease. What's even more impressive is how Africa is building not just cars, but supply chains. In the past, most raw materials had to be imported. Today, Kenya's Devki Group operates a massive steel mill on the coast, producing 500,000 tons of steel annually. That's helped cut frame building costs by nearly 20%. In Egypt, a €1 billion factory in the Suez Canal economic zone is expected to produce 7 million tires every year, many of them headed to plants in Morocco and Nigeria. Meanwhile, upholstery leather is being tanned in Nigeria's Kano state and then sent to dashboards in Ghana and South Africa. This shift to local sourcing keeps money and jobs inside Africa and reduces dependence on foreign supply chains. Now let's talk about what really sets these cars apart. They're built for punishment. Think of ground clearance. Anything under 200 millimeters is not even considered. Suspension parts are overbuilt. Radiators come with stone guards. And every bit of electronics is sealed tight against dust. Unlike Tesla's sleek but sensitive designs, African automakers know you might be driving through mud, sandstorms, or floodwater. That's why they use steel conduits to protect wiring and old-school buttons instead of fancy touch panels. Because out here, it needs to work no matter what. One innocent G6 pickup, for example, might haul cassava to market in the morning, drop kids off at school in the afternoon, and still handle a flooded village road at night, all without glitching or needing a laptop to fix it. Now, electric cars are a big deal globally, but in much of Africa, charging is a serious challenge. More than 600 million people still live without reliable electricity. Even in places with power lines, voltage drops and blackouts are common. On top of that, Africa has the lowest charger-to-person ratio in the world, fewer than one charger for every 10,000 people. So, long-range EVs like Teslas just don't work outside the big cities. That's why self-charging in African vehicles means something different. We're talking hybrids that use regenerative braking, solar panels on the roof, or simple alternator systems that charge batteries while idling. These setups might not look flashy, but they keep lights on and small electronics running, even when the power grid doesn't. And this no-nonsense approach is winning over real customers. In northern Ghana, farming groups say they've cut maintenance costs by up to 30% just by switching from imported used cars to locally made Kantanka pickups. In Kenya, safari operators prefer the Mobius 3 because its sealed cabin keeps dust out of vital systems, avoiding costly breakdowns. And in Nigeria, Innocent's EV pickup is now being used by telecom technicians who charge their tools and laptops straight from the 20 kilowatt-hour battery. Even global car makers are starting to take notes. Volkswagen's plant in Kigali now sources dashboard components from plastics factories in Nairobi. And Stellantis, which owns Jeep, Peugeot and Citroën, is already exploring Morocco's interior for a new SUV production line aimed at the West African market. Here's the bottom line. Africa isn't chasing luxury trends or trying to out-Tesla Tesla. It's solving real transportation problems for real people. Africa laid the groundwork with rugged, locally made vehicles, and China wasted no time in joining the race. China's early bird play in Africa. While the West hesitated, China acted. As American companies debated whether self-charging cars were real or just a gimmick, Chinese investors were already shaking hands, building factories, and forming partnerships across Africa. Their logic was simple: even if the tech wasn't perfect yet, the opportunity was too big to miss. And if Africa could make it work on bumpy roads and unstable power grids, then this idea could work anywhere. In Nairobi, the Chinese connection is already up and running. The Kenyan startup Basigo is putting electric buses on city roads, with 17 of them already operating, each one built with help from Chinese giant BYD.
And it looks really nice. Look at that. KDL, it's brand new, this one.
Backed by a Shenzhen parts company, Kenyan engineers are now designing cheaper power modules to make production more affordable for the local market. Over in Uganda, China's CHTC is working with Kira Motors, a state-backed Ugandan car maker, to refine solar-powered hybrid buses. Their shared goal is simple: cut dependence on diesel and the national grid by making public transport more energy independent. These partnerships aren't about exporting control. They're about shared development. China's interest in East Africa didn't stop there. In May, Ethiopia banned new petrol and diesel cars, opening the door for Guangzhou's GAC group. The company quickly responded by unveiling 2 plug-in hybrid models designed for the local market. Technicians from Guangdong have already begun helping Ethiopian teams prepare for local production. With no old gas plants to replace, Ethiopia is looking to jump straight into the EV era with Chinese support. West Africa is also getting in on the action. Nigeria, the continent's largest economy, signed an exclusive deal last year with Chinese carmaker Geely. Through Kosharis Motors in Lagos, Geely now sells
ngayo nguko rero muba mumaze kureba cyangwa se kwitegereza uburyo ikoranabuhanga ari kugenda rizamuka hirya no hino muri Afurika. Bivuze yuko mu minsi iza rwose natwe muri Afurika tugiye kujya dukora ibicuruzwa bigiye bitandukanye by'ikoranabuhanga, bityo tukabyohereza mu yindi migabane igiye itandukanye. Nubwo ugisanga bimwe mu binyabiziga bigenda bikorwa hirya no hino bigikoreshwa iwabo, cyane by'umwihariko urugero nk'uko dufite Volkswagen zigikoreshwa no mu Rwanda, muri Kenya mwabonye aho bageze, umuvuduko bagezeho mu gukora ibinyabiziga, mwabonye muri Zimbabwe n'ahandi hagiye hatandukanye, yewe na Mozambique. Ibyo byose ni bimwe mu bihugu twagiye tubona ko bigiye bifite iterambere mu ikoranabuhanga ryimbitse kandi riri kugenda ritera imbere umunsi ku wundi. Bikongera gusobanura yuko ubwo nukuvuga ko bamwe mu bazajya bakora ibinyabiziga bitandukanye n'iby'ahandi bizajya birushaho kugenda bigaragara hirya no hino ku migabane ya Afurika, ariko tubihererekanya mu bijyanye n'ubucuruzi binazamura ubukungu bwa Afurika. Reka dushimire abo twabanye muri iki kiganiro. Nakagaruka ku mbere no ku wa gatatu isaha 11 kugera isaha 12 tubongera kubararikira kujya mutugana kugira ngo turusheho gukomeza kwamaza ibikorwa byanyu, mukora na subscribe kuri PACIS TV, bityo ukarushaho kugenda ukurikira ibiganiro byacu umunota ku wundi. Tunabutsa yuko dufite indi chaîne yitwa Shine Up TV, iyo nayo yukoze like cyangwa subscribe. Abakunda imyidagaduro rwose mujye mugerageza mujye kuri Shine Up TV, bityo muzajye murushaho kureba ibikorwa bya PACIS TV umunsi ku wundi, cyane ko hari n'igihe tuba twahuje umurongo. Reka dushimire Grace, dushimire abari muri tekinike bose badufashe kugira ngo amajwi n'amashusho bageraho 5 kuri 5. Tubifuriza gukomeza kunogerwa na gahunda za PACIS TV. Mukanya ni igitambo cya misa, mujye kure.